Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. That's all I've got. There's no energy in me. I'm frazzled. The brain's away.
So, I can't suppress my joy because we have just watched the 1987 classic. I mean, we can all acknowledge top 10 films of all time. The
Top.
The Norman Jewison directed, Cher starring, classic, archetypal film, Moonstruck. Moonstruck.
Which you tell me has won Oscars.
Yeah, I forgot to check. Which? 100%.
Well, you keep monologuing. I'll check which Oscars it won.
At a purely cosmetic level, Loretta Castorini, as played by Cher, is the sexiest film character ever.
We got 6.
Yeah, I felt that.
So
it's a fucking big deal.
They got Best Actress
For Cher.
for Cher.
Obviously.
They got Best Supporting Actress
For Olympia Dukakis.
for Olympia Dukakis.
Well, she was fucking incredible, so good.
Best Original Screenplay
Entirely
for
deserved.
John Shonda.
Entirely deserved.
Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, Best Picture nominee. Best Picture nominee. Sorry,
I was going to say, that one
My
Best
bad.
Picture.
Sorry,
that's
no,
insane.
they did
Yeah.
label this probably.
Right,
It's
yeah,
3 wins and 3 nominees.
Right. So
Best Supporting Actor in Vincent Gardenia.
That's her dad.
I assume that's her dad. And Best Director in Norman Jewison.
Fuck, man. That's only 5.
What was it? Oh, sorry. Best Picture by Norman Jewison and Patrick, whatever.
No, it's only 5.
That's 6.
Cher.
Can I just not count? Did I
Yeah.
say 6?
Cher, Olympia Dukakis. Oh, did you see Best Director and Best Picture?
But Best Actress, Supporting Actress, Original Screenplay, Picture, Supporting Actor, Director.
Okay. Yeah, 6.
Um,
Well, you know what? I've seen it before, so just, you know what? Let's make this quick. Because we all know it's one of the greatest films ever made.
I don't think we all know.
Give me some reactions. I mean, you loved it.
I had.
You loved it.
I
You
had
had a great time watching
a
it.
great time watching it. I think it's great,
Mm.
but I couldn't explain why.
The whole thing's insane.
Like it's just nuts. Like
I mean,
I can't even say that it doesn't make sense. It does make sense. It's just that everybody in it's fucking insane.
so, like, to
And we haven't even mentioned Nicolas Cage yet. Like, we've talked about Cher and all. Like, Nicolas Cage is in this. One of, if not his first,
oh, no, I believe his first film role.
first film. And
Certainly his first starring film role.
he plays a bread shop owner. That's a bakery. What?
A baker. He's a baker.
Who works in the basement of his corner shop, shoveling dough into an oven, as he puts it, with his one hand because he's got a prosthetic wooden hand. And he has one of the most nuts introductions that's ever been put to film. So Cher gets proposed to by a moron that just doesn't know anything. And he's like, yo, I gotta go. My mom's dying in Sicily.
Yeah. Yeah, what's weird about that is, so he's bought his ticket and then thought,
Yeah,
I've
got to book before I go.
I've got to take my woman out for dinner. Takes her for dinner and proposes for her. It's so strange.
But he tells her, you need to ring my brother because I haven't spoken in like 5 years. There's bad blood. Go and speak to, or ring him and speak to him.
Yeah. Yep.
She forgets, so she tries. She tries eventually. He's like, yo, fuck off. So she goes round, and you see this guy in a vest making bread in a shop that has a lot of bread. They must make a fortune.
As a baker, I will lend some professional expertise to this arrangement. They are churning out the bread.
There's a lot of bread.
Churning it out. So,
they rolling in that dough, yo.
You don't know what time she arrives. You don't know what time she arrives. But the shop is open. It is full of product.
Yep.
There are loaves literally stacked on top of the counter. Now, New York in 1987, I sort of believe that's doable. But still, all the ovens are running downstairs.
They're all still
so
making
Cher goes
bread.
in and is like, I need to speak to Ronnie. And the last people in the counter is like, why? He's like, I just got to talk to him. Cher in this film, by the way, oh my god, right? Like, she's so sexy. I can't really describe to you. I can't describe to you how sexy she is. The accent's impeccable.
I'm not sure how Cher's supposed to sound anymore.
Yeah, right. Like, I think that's her. I think Cher has been lying to us, and she's in fact a working class Italian American from New York.
Yeah, essentially.
Fuck me. I don't really find films sexy. I've only found one other film sexy, and that film was Wild Things. That's a sexy fucking film.
I haven't seen that in years. Let's watch that.
Fuck, man. Matt Dillon in that sex scene is the happiest man on the planet. But fuck me, Cher in this film it's physically painful. I understand everything Nicolas Cage says in this film. He's right.
I only love two things.
I only love two things. You and the opera. I don't care about the opera, but I'd fuck Cher. Like that. So she
everything out of Nicolas Cage's mouth in this film is fucking phenomenal.
So he delivers.
It's been written by a crazy person.
When she goes into this basement where he's baking, he gets really angry and reveals that he lost his hand because his brother came in to get a loaf of bread sliced and he wasn't paying attention. So his hand got caught in the bread slicer. He lost his hand. I should say, bakers don't like to joke about that. That's very much a concern we all have. I slice about 50 loaves a day, and I can tell you, we risk that for you, the customer.
My jaw hurts from laughing at this movie. Like, I just tried to smile there, and something popped, and I'm in pain.
So he storms out of the bakery, and my favourite moment of the entire film, which I'm not sure Chris really appreciated, was after he storms out, the lassie from behind the counter is like, oh, I love him so much, but I can't tell him because he can't love anyone because he lost his hand. It's just so weird. And Cher kind of looks at him. Cher kind of looks at her and then just fucking follows him out. So he's fucked off in the middle of the day. If they were still meant to be working, he's just like... He demands...
The queue's not out the door. There was two
people
there.
There's no cut in the bakery. To the extent that the lassie working the counter can fucking go downstairs and stand greeting and crying about the fact that she wants to bone Nicolas Cage, who demands that she brings him the big knife so he can cut his throat.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
He's no wife anymore.
It's so good.
Also, when your woman says that and she's crying, when it cuts back to her when Cher walks out, she's not crying anymore. Like, her face is perfectly dry and it's not red anymore.
She's a beautiful lady, and I imagine she just
rallied
rallied very quickly. I mean, she's around Nicolas Cage all the time. Like,
oh, she knows all about it. She just is one-handed antics. Fuck me, this movie. I can't even... genuinely, I'd have never watched this movie before, and I can't even explain it to you, but...
So they got
it's fucking nuts.
They go to Nicolas Cage's apartment, and she makes a mistake. What's fascinating is
That's his apartment,
yeah.
like,
He's like, what are you doing? I'm making you a steak. Where did the steak come from?
Yeah, she just like raided his fridge and started making him dinner. And she made herself like a full fucking pasta dish.
And he goes...
She's like eating fucking spaghetti carbonara or some shit.
He goes, I like it well done. And she says, you're getting it bloody... What is it?
To cure your bad blood or something. Yeah.
You're getting it bloody to rebuild your blood.
And then she doesn't even. It's like fucking medium to well done.
Yeah, it's like a medium steak that he eats, clutching his fork with his prosthetic hand, cuts it off, eats it, tells her it's good. They have an incredible speech in which she tells him that he's a wolf and that he gnawed his own paw off to escape his girlfriend who left him after he lost his hand, and he gets angry, flips the table over. Pulls her
one shot at Jameson.
Pulls her up into
JB.
They're ringing JB. He pulls her up into an embrace, very 1950s, vaguely rapey style. She's like, wait a minute. And fine. Then she kisses him.
Yeah, she just goes immediately straight back in.
She goes back in for the kiss. Then he scoops her up, and she's like, "What are you doing? Where are you taking me?" And he says, in Nicolas Cage, by the way, Nicolas Cage's movie is so beautiful. Nicolas Cage scoops her up. Where are you taking me? To bed. To
bed.
And he carries her to bed. And then she says something along the lines of, she doesn't swear, but what is it? Like, he throws her into bed, and she says something about that she wants him to take the flesh off of her bones.
Yeah.
Take the flesh off my bones. Like, oh, by the way, Cher in this movie. Fuck. I mean, I'd take the flesh off her fucking bones.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no defending it. Like, Michty me.
Fraser's dad's in this.
Yeah, talk about Fraser's dad. Because, you know, he was in the scene where he proposed.
So Fraser's dad's, like, the whole way through this, like, intermittently. And it's always in the same restaurant that they all go to, but he's always sitting there with some girl that's, like, much... Like, and he's still an old man here. Like... He's not Fraser old.
You know, fun fact, he's like only 5 years younger than Kelsey Grammer.
Fuck off. Really?
So he's looked old forever, that's why he got the job. But like, that's 1987, so that's like 10 years before Fraser. And yeah, he's always looked old. So that's 10 years before Fraser. When Fraser started, he was literally less than a decade younger than Kelsey Grammer. Certainly not old enough to be his dad. But anyway.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, so it's like him, and he's sitting there with some girl that's very much half his age. Well, from what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah, who knows?
Who fucking knows how old he is? Who always like loses a rag in the middle of a scene and like throws water on him and then leaves. And he's got like all the restaurant well trained that he's just like clear any fucking forensic evidence that she was here. And just bring me a large vodka, and then this is him the way through. And you don't find out till later that it's like, yeah, I'm a professor, and all these people are students that he works, like he teaches to. And it's a really good, like...
He's a professor of communications?
Yeah!
I needed a sexier subject than that.
Yeah.
I needed, like, the idea that he's like... Well, no, actually, you know what? What's communications?
No, it's nothing, because, like, when we did, like information communication technologies in school, like it was a nothing.
No, but is it that?
It must be.
Probably.
I mean,
I know we have about 3 or 4 dozen American viewers, loyal American viewers. Someone let us know in the comments what communications is. Fun fact: you'll be our first ever comment. No!
Not true.
Second. You'll be our second ever comment because of Jenna's ha 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 ha
fucking Jenna.
She was right.
Appreciate it.
She was right. We're very funny. Thanks, Jenna. Keep watching, sweetheart.
So like, I mean, it leads to like a good scene later on where he's like explaining why he's chasing women, and it's because he's so jaded on his job, and like he's not what he started out to be. Like he started out very passionate.
Yeah, so we see Cher's dad, who's a plumber, see him seeing some clients. And what's interesting is kind of ripping them off, but kind of not.
Yeah.
I.e., he's basically like, you've got some options here, and the option you should take is the only one I'm offering.
But it's the best one.
Because I'm only offering you the best option.
Yeah.
But I will say, he quotes them $10,800.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
So that's $1987, admittedly in New York. That's a lot of money.
Oh, it's huge. But then we're never specifically told what exactly it's
but
for. Like if that's doing all their pipes,
presumably he's replumbing the apartment.
yeah, which probably isn't that bad.
No,
a price.
that's a lot of money.
For New
If
York.
someone quoted you $10,000 to replumb this place,
yeah.
that's a lot of money.
But I mean, at the same time, I'm still kind of like, I mean, that must be reasonably accurate.
No,
they're not going to pick a random number out.
I assume you're right, because what's interesting is it's a very high number, and it's a really fascinating thing where cinema consistently quotes bullshit low numbers.
Mm.
So yeah, it probably is. But anyway, you see a scene where he's doing his job, then it cuts to him and his fancy woman. They're in a restaurant.
Yep.
She is, interestingly, not... She's not like a... This is the thing, again, I think this film presents like a fascinating array of relationship scenarios, because he's not dating some, like, bimbo. It's not some younger woman.
Mm.
It's like a woman his age.
Yeah,
she is a
right,
middle-aged woman
Yep.
Who just presents as... I'm going to use the delicate word. She presents as more...
I mean, just say.
She presents as more sexually adventurous than Olympia Dukakis. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
What I will say is she
yeah.
presents as a lady who is happy to.
But then there's never
this portly plumber buy her jewelry, and she'll pork him, and that's fine. Fair play to everybody.
There's never really any suggestion though that he is banging her. Is there though?
Well, I mean, in as much as that we don't see him fucking her.
No, but like.
But what's the nature of the relationship? Do you think he's just buying her gifts?
In the same vein of.
You know what? This is an interesting.
Rickman? Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
But there you go. Do you believe Rickman just bought her the necklace, or do you believe Rickman fucked her?
I believe he just bought her the necklace.
Funny, I believe he just bought her the necklace.
And I think it's the same deal with
But
this. I think it's just a case of...
What's interesting is that most women read that as, oh, he fucked her. And I don't know that anyone's wrong, because I sort of feel a little bit like... Yeah, well, anyway. I
mean, that's what I took from this. Was that
from this,
that there was no...
From this, I definitely do. Because
there was no banging, it was more of like something different.
The dinner where we introduced to them, there was no suggestion that was like an early dinner. She was like, oh, you're always so clever, you know so much. They've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
Olympia Dukakis, when Cher wakes up to tell her they're getting married, she kind of talks about him not touching her or something. Like, the suggestion is this has been this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
So, like, he's taken her out for dinner and buying her, he bought her, like, a charm bracelet. Like, this isn't Rickman being slowly gamed.
Sure, yeah.
This is, they're going for dinner, going to the opera, and he's buying her gifts.
That's the only bit that made me think that he maybe was banging her. He's
doing a terrible job of having an affair if he's not fucked her.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know. So like opera dinner gift.
Yeah.
An opera and dinner are totally separate.
But to be fair, the only bit that made me think that he maybe was banging her was remembering that Dawn wife had said.
Yeah, he listens to that.
That's the only bit thinking about it. It's like, well, then maybe he is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, he's also old, so. How much of a fuck does he really give?
No, but then if you're past the desire to fuck, why are you still taking ladies out?
True. But then is it a case of...
Though I'm young enough to admit I don't understand what that involves. It's interesting, for example, in The Departed, Jack Nicholson's character talks about the fact that he doesn't... How does he phrase it? I don't even need the pussy anymore, if I'm honest. But he still does it because it's like a status symbol. So he's like fucking sex workers because
but is this then...
he wants to. It's a status thing. So I wonder. There's an element to which, if Cosimo wasn't rich, because they're portrayed as being very well off. It's a big apartment for New York, but it's a flat. It's
she literally says at the beginning that he's as rich as...
Yeah, exactly. It's like a brownstone. It's not an apartment at all. It's a brownstone. They've got the two of them, their daughter and his father, and like fucking 60 dogs. Yep. He's doing well. So, if he didn't have the money, maybe you would just sort of settle down.
They do make a point of like pointing out that he's got like, they're being like, oh yeah, he's just got the fear of death, and this is why. And is this just a case of because it's making him feel young? Because your fancy woman is younger than his wife.
They could be the same age, but she's young presenting. Olympia Dukakis is settled into being a borderline elderly, but certainly middle-aged housewife. She doesn't give a fuck anymore, and I can't remember the woman's name.
I don't know if it's even given.
No, you could
to be honest, that's...
But the woman that he's fucking, she is wearing cocktail dresses and dyeing her hair and presenting young. So yes,
I'm wondering
there's certainly
if it's more of like it's making him feel young, and therefore, because like she makes that point at the end that she's like, you're going to die. So like, I'm wondering if that's what it connects to.
Olympia Dukakis in this film is fucking incredible.
It's great.
So she obviously knows her man is at it. And again, this is my issue. If it was just buying jewelry and it was really like surface stuff, I don't know that she would know about it. The whole suggestion in the film is that she's rumbled him and doesn't know how to deal with it, and it's because of the catharsis of Loretta's nah, fuck it, I'm not going to do this, that she then, because that's why she's obsessed with why men chase women.
Yeah, I guess.
So she goes, when she realizes she's alone for an evening, Olympia Dukakis, Loretta's mother, Cher's mother, goes to dinner on her own in the restaurant where so much of the action takes place. And John Mahoney, Fraser's dad, is having dinner with yet another student who once again throws water in his face and storms out. And he apologizes, like, I'm sorry I disturbed you. She's like, you don't disturb me. And he's like, she's crazy. And he's like, no. She's like, no, she's just too young for you. And he's like, oh, I just got that. Oh, well, how old are you? And then he apologizes. And then she says to him, would you like to join me? And this is what I think is really fascinating, because the whole point is, like, he then joins her.
Yeah.
And he's this guy who's been established, like, fucks his students. That's when it's revealed he's a communications professor. He hates what his life has become, but then every semester he looks out and there's some 19-year-old who, when he's spouting this rote bullshit that he said 1,000 times, there's this girl who's been hearing it for the first time ever and looks at him and it's like a beautiful young lassie, and so he fucks her.
And like, what is it he says? In her eyes, he can see what she sees. What he thought he used to be?
Yes, she sees what I thought I could be, or something along those lines.
Yeah, like what he was when he started.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting old myself. But I was sort of sat thinking, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough, son. I get it.
I think that whole little bit's good.
It's fine,
I don't obviously condone it, but like I can almost understand his reasoning. Like, he's seeing what he thinks himself as.
I also like a guy who's a creep, but he has a complete intellectual understanding of it.
Yeah.
He's not...
Oh, yeah, because he's undoubtedly a creep.
He's not pretending...
There's rationale there.
Yeah, he's not pretending it's anything other than what it is, which is, I hate my life, but these lassies, once every year, arrive, and I can be like, I'm great. Everything's fantastic. Yeah. Until they throw water in his face and fuck off, right? But what I also like is that we're sort of meant to believe that over the course of a meal, he kind of falls for Olympia Dukakis, a woman his age, of his generation, who is engaging and intelligent. But it's like this incredible opposites where he's this professor who's fucking these 20-year-olds, who then tire of him, but she is obviously so much more intelligent than being a woman who's been a housewife for like 50 years, 30 years. well, Loretta's 37 in this film. We don't know if her brother is older or younger, but conceivably they've been married 40 odd years.
Yeah.
And so he asks to walk her home, and then when they get back to hers, after running into her father-in-law walking his like 5 dogs, which never really comes up, like 10 dogs, never really comes up, so fine. But he walks her home and then does the kind of like stupid game of, oh, I'm so cold, it's really chilly, pulling his collar up and rubbing his hands together.
I would love a coffee right now.
And what's great is that he says to her, oh, I can't come in because obviously someone's home. And she's like, well, no one's home, but I'm married.
Yeah, you're just not going in.
Yeah, which I love as well. Because it's like, this whole time, while like Cher's fucking Nicolas Cage and her dad's off fucking this fancy woman, she's just like, well, no, I'm married, I know who I am, off you
Like,
fuck.
there's definitely going to be some bloke that's watched that and been like, what a fucking cocktails. Fucking bitch.
Exactly. Like, I love the fact that, yeah, you can read that so much as, oh, it's terrible. But
because it gives, like, to be fair, it gives you the shot of them walking where she's like looking up at him a couple of times.
Yeah, and takes
like,
takes his arm.
Yeah,
but this is the thing. There's nothing. It establishes there's a line to cross.
Yeah.
She doesn't kiss him. They don't have any. There's no such going on. She kisses him in the cheek. He then asks if she can kiss her in the cheek.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
that.
company thing. Like, she just wants company.
Yeah,
it's not
because
it's
her man's
not
off.
sexual.
Their man's at the same opera.
Yeah.
That Cher has gone to with Nicolas Cage. So they're at the same opera together. They see each other in the foyer at the end, leading to an incredible.
Maybe I didn't see you.
I didn't see you here. Well, maybe I didn't see you here neither. Cher is so good in this fucking film. I just poured Coke all over my cup. Cher is so good in this movie.
Yeah.
Cher didn't star in enough films. Off the strength of that.
I find that hard to judge because I think she did a good job, but it's also a very fucking nuts movie. Like,
but her performance in isolation, because you have to take everyone's performance in isolation because it looked like they were all in different fucking films.
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage, Cher, Olympia Dukakis, her dad, their grandfather,
the brother.
They were all.
Like Nicolas Cage's brother was in like
Danny
a
Aiello
spoof movie.
Danny Aiello. They were all in different films.
Like
We haven't even discussed her
he
aunt
was
and
like
uncle.
he was
Her
in
aunt
like
and
the
uncle.
fucking. He was like in the beginning of Airplane or something. He's like leaving his luggage outside the taxi and it was driving off and he's having to come back for it. Like, it was fucking insane.
You ever seen Pret-a-Porter?
Surprisingly, this may throw you off, but I have not.
So it was made by Robert Altman, who made like MASH.
Sure.
And it's like this skewering of the Paris fashion scene.
Fuck,
and
I
it's
hate it already.
fucking awful. Like
Hate it
a
already.
terrible, terrible film. But there's this constant running trope throughout it that they all keep standing in dog shit. So like, because they're like fashion icons and they all keep standing in dog shit and they're like, oh no, look at their feet. And it's like, oh god, you thought that was so clever when you came up with it? You were like, I figured out, I'm going to skewer the fuck out of these cunts, and they just keep standing in dog shit. It's like, what's wrong with you?
I'll
It's
teach
terrible.
them.
In fairness, MASH, which MASH is,
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of MASH.
it was a TV show. It was a film first, rather. There was a
Didn't
film
know
of
that
MASH. Elliot Gould, Donald Sutherland, Tom Skerritt, James Brown.
Really? Didn't know that.
Not that James Brown. James Brown? Not James Brown, the singer.
No.
Is it-
Well, then I definitely didn't know that.
I think it's James Brown, the NFL player. I apologize for forgetting his name. I think his name's James Brown. He was in The Dirty Dozen, the black guy in The Dirty Dozen.
Right.
I'm sure he was called James Brown.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually.
Jim Brown. That's it. So he was called James Brown. Jim Brown,
Yep.
also in it. It's a hateful film. We can watch it sometime. We will not talk about it because there's nothing to say about MASH other than it is a horrible, hateful film.
I don't want to watch it.
Like, it's not even like...
Well, I've avoided MASH for this long. I'm not getting involved now.
It's not even like, well, it's old, so we forgive it. It's just really, like, unpleasant. Like, essentially, fuck MASH. Fuck it. But, anyway, Moonstruck. Isn't Cher delightful?
Alright, we need to go big pause. and then just straight back in. That's fucking hilarious.
That's my big paw. You know, there's a town in the desert. Shh. There's a corral. There's a saloon. The sheriff sat there. He's got his feet on his desk. He's got a 6-shooter by his side. And this dog walks in. Struts up on 3 legs. 1 up. Bandage from this one. He walks up to his desk and he says, "Sheriff, here for the man that shot my paw."
Do you know? do you know the biggest problem I have with this is that this can't be cut in because of where we stopped the conversation.
You can't even just stop it and cut that joke.
Because of where we stopped.
Do you get it?
To where we have to jump back in. That's not gonna work.
If you have any balls, yes, you can. You can cut that back in. I'm here for the man that shot my paw.
It's not gonna make sense, but you've seen it now. Okay, so let's break down the finale. I think we've covered everything. Haven't we?
Yeah, we have no.
We've pretty
No.
much covered
What I
everything.
was going to say was, I think that table scene is one of, and I mean this with irony, one of the greatest scenes, genuinely in cinematic
The
history.
finale to
Yeah,
the scene.
yeah. Like that's fucking.
I really like it.
It's fucking
Really
incredible.
like it.
So
Hold on, quickly before we win, because it's going to be appropriate. The brother and sister.
oh yeah, fair point. Right,
Just quickly.
So Cher is an accountant. That's her job. She is the kind of roving accountant of a number of businesses in this section of New York. Never established where. I imagine some people might know. It looks to be somewhere quite not Manhattan. I don't know, an Italian-American neighborhood, Queens, Brooklyn Heights, somewhere out where you can get big enough houses. She is the roving accountant. Amongst her business clients is her mother's brother, and his wife, who run a deli. Before she goes to the opera, which is one of the 2 things Nicolas Cage loves after her, they give her this bag of money, and it's a really fascinating thing you've seen, because I thought the same thing when I watched it recently. I thought the same thing as you, which is you focus on it. They give her all this cash. She stuffs it in a bag, puts it in her handbag, and you focus on it like this is important.
Yeah, there's a massive close-up
Yeah.
of the money going into the bag.
She then walks out, wanders along, goes straight into a hairdresser and does her hair. IMO looked
shop.
better before the hair was done, but still looks incredible. Absolutely fantastic. Cher in this movie. Then comes right out of the hairdresser, then into a clothes shop, gets all dolled up, goes to meet Nicolas
6
Cage.
bags.
Right? So I was left thinking when I watched it recently, shit, she's spent their money on her hair and clothes.
like it's
and you
it's-
said to me,
yeah, like,
how she spent her money on hair and clothes. And you're clearly meant to think that.
yeah, it's laid
It's
up.
definitely
as,
laid up. Like there's no other reason to direct it that way.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the film, she fucks Nicolas Cage again after the opera.
The brothers come home from
The brother comes home, goes to her house to speak to her, and Olympia Dukakis is like, everyone's out, it's just me. She asks him why men chase women, and he tells a Bible story, which I must admit makes him seem cleverer than he is.
and then they immediately turn him back into a bumbling idiot because he can't get out the front door with his cases.
But what he says is it's about Adam. It's about Adam and Eve. This rib, he's looking for something missing, and then she basically says, "I think that's bullshit." And then he says, "Maybe they fear death." So he does,
and then that connects.
That's her theory, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, I think you're right." He then fucks off. You're right. He bumbles his way out the door and forgets. Again.
Two cases.
Next morning, Cher wakes up, goes home. Olympia Dukakis is like, "You've got a love bite in your neck. What the fuck are you doing?" And then this Ronnie's going to be here in like 5 minutes, which is her fiance, the brother. He's going to be here in 5 minutes.
or whatever. You get that fucking hickey covered.
And just this impeccable scene occurs.
It's
where
not madness.
It's the two of them, then the doorbell rings, she panics thinking it's Johnny, so hides in the cupboard to change.
Yep.
Olympia Dukakis goes to answer it. He's like, "Hi, I'm Ronnie." And then Olympia Dukakis does a noise, which honestly, she should won the Oscar for alone, where she turns around and goes, "Ah."
But it's so good because she's just like, there's absolutely no flustering her at all. Like, she knows exactly who he is, so she shows up, she's like, that's the fancy boy.
And then she
just doesn't, she's just like, yeah.
Cher comes out the cupboard and is like, "Ronnie, what are you doing here?" And then Olivia Gaggs says to him, "You've got a hickey in your neck. Do you want some oatmeal?"
Just some oatmeal.
"I would love some oatmeal, Miss Castorini." And she comes in. Then her dad comes in, and obviously he's spotted them the night before at the opera. Ronnie's like, "I'm Johnny's brother, Ronnie Castorini." It's like, "You're Johnny's brother," and then looks at Cher. There's so many silent looks in this fucking film.
It's phenomenal.
Then another knock at the door. Cher's like, "Oh fuck, here he is now." But they don't bother waiting for that door because it's her aunt and uncle who come like, "You have anything to tell us?" And she's like, "No." Like, "We went to the bank this morning," and she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "No," and she's like, "Oh, the money!" And it turns out she hadn't spent any of the money, but she hadn't deposited it either.
Forgot to deposit it.
It's just a very strange little and they're like, "Oh, I knew you wouldn't have spent it. It's all fine." And then they come and cluster around the table. Her brother sits down. Her husband, yeah.
I wonder if like the whole close up of the money is supposed to be like, "Hey, you need to know that this money's a thing," so that when they show up at the end, they're like, "Oh, I knew you'd forget to deposit." It's like. So you were supposed to think that her going to the salon and going to the shop was just her forgetting about the money, as opposed to spending it, and they just didn't do a good job of showing what they were aiming for.
No, I think we're supposed to think that she's maybe spending money.
It's so weird.
What I think is maybe the point is that you think that, and then forget about it, because I forgot about it until they showed up.
I didn't forget about it.
Wow, was it preying on you?
It's the big plot hole.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a plot hole, it was resolved.
No, until it was resolved, it was a big plot hole for me. As I were just not going to worry about the fact she stole all that money.
I wonder if you're supposed to be thinking about the fact that... Right, so... Cosimo, Cher's dad.
Sure.
Is off fucking... With no disrespect to the woman involved, he's off fucking a bimbo, right?
Yeah, she's put forward.
She's presented as being.
"Oh my god, you're so smart."
Yes, right. So he's just fucking. That's it.
Sure.
There's nothing more than that. I mean, okay, she also fawns over him and says how clever he is, but it's this one way.
It's portrayed very much as an attention thing. She's like, "Oh my god, you didn't even compliment my dress today." Yeah, you dressed right.
I love your... No, but he didn't even say that though, because it's not dismissive. What he says when she says, "You haven't mentioned my dress," he says, "I love your dress. It's very bright."
As he immediately turns and looks away. Yeah, I guess it's bright.
But it's a vapid thing.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got Cher and Nicolas Cage, which is like a very sexual love match, i.e. they bone a fuck ton, but they love one another.
Bone the flesh off my bones.
Yeah, exactly. She wants him to strip the flesh of her bones, and he keeps his fake hand on while they pork.
That upsets me.
I mean, I'll agree. If someone
weird.
Fucked me with a wooden hand,
I mean, again, I don't want like my face getting robbed with like a nubbin, but at the same time, take your wooden hand off. Have a bit of respect. You know.
I have nothing to add. I have nothing to add to that.
It's enough.
I think the point is then that Olympia Dukakis doesn't engage, i.e. I mean, in fairness, he's presented as the biggest... Well, he's not, but
then
she's just not... She's just like, no. The point is, when he is like, "Can I come inside?" No. "Oh, Are people home? No, but I'm married. The point is, you see the kind of thing from just sex to I'm cheating, but it's love to no, fuck you. My husband isn't perfect, but we're married.
No.
See,
I mean, I still don't buy that it's cheating because it's love. I still doubt the legitimacy of that's like a serious thing.
Between who?
The dad and the bimbo. Like, I know that there's the gift and the opera and stuff, but I feel like because it's just sex, and then that's just wanting somebody to spend time with, and then that I feel like it's him just using her to make himself feel better, as opposed to another sex thing.
So wait, are you? This is interesting. Are you saying that you think the John Mahoney thing, that them having dinner together and their walk, that potentially is worse than her husband?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, it's like there's three distinct versions of what's happening. But I don't think the dad. I still don't buy that the dad and the bimbo is a sex thing, because you've got the sex thing with Nicolas Cage and
sure, yeah.
I think it's trying to be like, here's the three. Here's three versions.
I think you're being very charitable, because I think the suggestion that the dinner where we meet them does not play like a first date, and we've already had reference.
No, I don't in any way think that that's a first date.
I think
I think that's an ongoing thing, but I'm still kind of just like, that's him. He's just wanting attention to make himself feel better.
Yes, no,
it's effectively a sugar daddy situation, but it's making him feel better about himself.
I would agree 100%.
Because I think that differentiates the three, and I think that's that's what they're kind of going for.
I still think he's fucking her, but I think you're right that that's the motivation. I think I think the motivation of the three of them is she enjoys needing companionship, but knows the limits of her vows.
Yeah,
Cher suddenly realizes that the world is bigger.
But I mean, Cher made it very clear at the beginning that it wasn't love.
Yeah, she didn't,
it was a case of
she doesn't love Danielle, but she likes him and he's asked. Exactly. Yeah. It's got us talking anyway.
True. I mean, we went to wrap up like 15 minutes ago.
It's a fucking classic. It's a fucking classic. It's on Netflix.
I mean, just watch it. Also.
Cher is painfully beautiful. Nicolas Cage, in one of his earliest roles, is already Nicolas Cage, and I think that deserves talking about.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw it, I did say like that. There's very much Nicolas Cageisms happening right
out the fucking gate. He was Nicolas Cage. That's impressive.
Yeah,
because that's big.
I mean, yeah, because like everything like you would know Nicolas Cage for is in this, like this delivery of stuff. Yeah.
And that dinner scene, the breakfast scene at the end, is like this kind of perfect marrying of like farce and sentiment as they all kind of come in. Like, it's really...
Yeah, like, and that's it. Like, there's no bad blood at the end of this. Like, the two brothers are there. Like, Nicolas Cage proposes to her immediately after the wedding's called off with the other brother. And, like, there's no bad blood. Everyone's just like, okay. And everything's just wrapped up and it's fine.
It's...
like, the rejected brother's sitting in the corner. He's a bit sad, even though he was going to break up with her anyway, but he's fine. The Granda, like, comes over and brings him in, and they're all great. And it's fine.
I hear the mother's recovered. It's a miracle. Well, I'm not much more for miracles. It's like it's just
it's great. You should watch. You should watch it.
Moonstruck.
I'm glad that I did.
I'm glad we shared it.
I'm glad that I did.
I'm glad we shared it.
And now it's recorded forever.
I really want to fuck 1987 Cher.
Goodbye.